Hey YouTube, how you guys doing? My name is Kyle, you know me as Dragonmar, and welcome to a new video. Today guys, we're going over a Plat 2 Reyna VOD, but in this VOD, we are going to be discussing how to get more impact frags. I'll be explaining what impact frags are, why they're important, and why this is even something I'm talking about. This is going to be really useful for a lot of you who struggle with sort of the idea of what is providing value to a team, what kills matter most, and all that kind of stuff. It's actually a pretty important concept to understand, but a lot of newer players and a lot of lower ranked players don't really understand this concept. So hopefully that will be useful for you guys. We'll also be looking at, obviously, the Reyna in this video. Nerf Boy here, kind enough to submit this VOD. Thank you very much for that. With that being said, if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe for more. Let me know what you want to see next. And let's start here with round one. Looks like we're rotating over to the A bomb site, currently in a 3v3. Now, it looked like he had a shorty at one point, and this is something you guys see me talk about a lot on stream, because I do tend to buy the shorty quite a bit. Now, I don't buy it on pistols, but it is always good to drop the shorty before the start. That way you can pick up your classic later on. And because you never want to be running around with a shorty if possible, especially for retakes, right? So I actually can't even remember if he bought the shorty that round. Doesn't really matter, because that tip just applies regardless. If you guys are buying shorties, make sure you put them on the ground. That way they stay. Then you switch them out for the classic once the round starts. And then that way you have your classic on the ground and it doesn't disappear when the round begins. All right, so we're starting off now here in round two, and this is kind of interesting. Nerf Boy is not upgrading. I would almost always recommend an upgrade for second round. I just don't think the benefits the benefits of not upgrading outweigh the potential risks, which in this case could be very bad. But right there, a good job at least securing that kill onto the jumping player. I forget who that was actually, and then just kind of finishing it off. So thankfully there was no forced back or anything, so that actually worked out really well. That's the best case scenario, right? The enemy team doesn't force back, they're all on classics, you have armor, you have your abilities, and you're good to go. So that ended up working really well, but I'm still going to always stand by this. I really do recommend that you focus your attention on those buys in the second round. Don't try to get away with things, especially when your team is split, right? A lot of times, one or two people won't buy, the rest of the team will buy, and then of course those are the guys getting attacked. So just straight up, my piece of advice, just buy second round. But we're in round three here, so let's start talking about impact frags, right? What is an impact frag? An impact frag is a kill. By the way, when I say frag, I think this more comes from other games, but when I say frag, I'm always talking about a kill on a player. When I talk about impact frags, essentially what it means is an impact frag is a kill that brings a lot of value to the team, and that greatly increases the chance that that team is going to win the round, right? If you start every round off with a 50-50 chance of winning, so you have a 50% chance of winning this round, the enemy team has a 50% chance of winning that round, right? If you get a kill, it is going to greatly increase the chance of winning that round. Certain kills have a higher impact on the rounds. For example, that kill right there, the first blood of the round, the first kill, has some of the highest impact of any kill possible. That was an example of a really high impact kill. But as we can see there was an instant trade. And now suddenly, even though that kill was extremely valuable, because a lot of damage was taken, the impact was slightly lessened from it. If you're able to get away with a kill and not taking any damage, that is the optimal situation. And now, as we can see, we're in a 1v2 here. Part of the problem with that is, as you saw, Nerf Boy was playing in that tube. The problem with that tube, super spammable. So what happens? He gets the kill, but he takes a ton of damage in the meantime. And he could have gotten spammed pretty much at any point if someone else would have peeked that corner. Does a good job securing the first blood, but the impact of that kill, not quite as valuable. All right, so we're moving into round four here, and just continuing off of impact frags, a lot of people will look at a scoreboard, and they will think they're doing really well because they have a lot of kills. More often than not, they're also on the losing team. And more often than not, they probably think the people with less kills are somehow, worse than them, playing bad, or it's just simply their fault they're losing. What a lot of people fail to understand is those kills the value of those kills greatly depends on when they occurred in those rounds. If you are somebody who's just cleaning up eco rounds, you're not having that much impact, right? Those are not impact frags. Maybe the first 1 or 2 kills of the round is, but if you're running through in it's like a 5v3 and you run through the Spectre, get the last 3 kills, that's not a very valuable play, right? Those kills don't matter that much. But if you're getting the first kill of a round on gun rounds, you're taking out a Vandal or an Op, that is a much higher value kill. So remember, just because you have a lot of kills doesn't actually mean that those kills were worth that much, right? Really important to understand this. And this can help a lot of people kind of not flame teammates or not get mad at teammates if they understand this sort of concept when it comes to the impact that those kills have on rounds and on the win percentage. All right, so that last round was going to be tough no matter what way we slice it. I mean, I think it was a 1v5. The Sheriff gets 1, which is good. Not an impact frag at all, right? Because that round was lost, but does damage the economy, right? So it's better than nothing, right? It's not the lowest tier of kill. That's actually, it's decent to do some damage to the economy. Remember, when you kill someone with a Vandal, they're probably losing full shield. There's 1,000 credits, and they're also losing a Vandal, at least 2,900, right? So you do roughly 4,000 credits worth of damage there. It's actually pretty decent. Ooh, I don't like this peek here though. Check this out. We go back. Just watch this peek here. See how tight he is to this wall? This Brim is going to see him way before he sees the Brim. Boom. And he's dead before he even really gets a chance to react. He's got to be peeking further away from that corner to make sure he appears on the Brim screen when he also can see the Brim. When you're that close to an angle, guys, remember, you're kind of cutting yourself off. That's a bad peek. You want to be far back and away from it. That way you guys see each other at the same time. All right, so Nerf Boy and friends unfortunately lose the round. He's gonna buy the Sheriff here. A lot of Sheriff buys so far, so I will be interested to see what he's able to do with it. But part of the problem I'm noticing is he's buying a Sheriff. His teammates have Vandals. So this is a split. This looks like some sort of split buy, maybe a force up. Not a big fan of this. Oh my god, that shot was dirty. Absolutely dirty. I take back everything I just said. That was a great play. That's the power of the Sheriff, baby. And that's why I'm buying the Ion Sheriff that I have right now in my night market, because that's going to make me a better player. I know it is. But let's get back on to talk about impact frags. That kill right there, so incredibly important. Probably one of the highest value kills you can get in the game, where you have a lesser weapon and you are killing a player with a better weapon. Although potentially had a Bucky here, or maybe I think the Breach stole the gun, I'm assuming. Either way, when you have like a force, or when you're on eco and you get a kill, the opening kill of the round on someone with a weapon, that is a high impact frag. That is a kill that greatly changes the trajectory of a round. I don't know if you guys have ever been in games before where you guys go into an eco and you're like, oh damn, you know, whatever, we lost. And then suddenly your teammate gets a kill and you're like, holy shit, like we could win this, right? That's an impact kill, right? That's a great way to think of it, because you've all been in that situation, right? Where it feels hopeless. You guys have classics. Someone gets a kill, picks up, you know, like a Vandal or something. Maybe even your Reyna, full shields now, heals up, right? Boom. Suddenly you have a good chance to win the round. That right there is the exact way I want you to think of impact. When it kind of changes the tide of the round and you're like, oh, we can win this now. That's a high impact kill. And it looks like here, last player is just going to save. All right, so currently 3-3 right now. I think that Jet was able to live last round. We have ultimate. One thing I want to note about Reyna players is that I think they have a tendency, a bad habit, to actually just hold on to their ultimates without actually using them. And then they end up kind of just wasting 2 or 3 ultimates per game. And I think part of the problem with Reyna's ult is that it just doesn't feel like super impactful. So players don't really know when to use it. And also it's really dependent on kind of like finding people to fight, right? Because if you're not fighting people, the ultimate actually could just straight up go away. And you're like, oh, well, I didn't get any value. But if you hold on to it too long, that's also not good, right? So it's about finding a balance. Right there, very fortunate not to die from that op shot. Just a little bit overexposed. Remember, if you are trying to like just spam someone, like for example, right there, he eventually kills the Sova. Don't want to expose yourself to short ever. Whenever you guys are retaking a site bind, you always want to be careful if you're going up into heaven of players on short, whether they're in the cubby, whether they're on the box, or what have you. All right, so back on the subject of impact frags, I do want to pay attention to kills here and kind of explain the impact they have as we're watching as well. Right here, first kill of the round onto the Rays. Looked like they might have been on an eco here or with some sort of upgraded pistols. Still, that's the highest impact kill you can have. First bloods are almost always going to be the highest impact. But then as we see, a little bit too aggressive. We swing out wide, end up seeing 2 players on our screen at once, and the Sage lands a headshot and takes us down. So right there, Nerf Boy gets the first kill, probably feeling pretty confident, but then just essentially gives away his life. And that's part of the problem with you know, being up on weapons. You sometimes can feel too cocky, and right there, that was a death that should have never happened, right? Because now your team is in a 1v3 and you're most likely gonna lose this round here. All right, so up 5-3 here. I believe they actually did end up winning that, but the point still of course stands. When you guys get these opening kills, it's a really good idea just to play it safe, right? You don't have to make big plays. You don't have to get flashy. Take your kill, fall back, especially when you're up on weapons. Abuse the range that naturally comes with that. A lot of people don't understand this. They try to fight up close and personal against like shotguns or against SMGs. That is exactly what the other team wants. That is their strong suit. Your strong suit is to play from range, right? That's what you guys should be focusing on when you're in your matches and when you're on these eco rounds, excuse me. Play from range. That's where you're going to get the biggest chance of you winning the rounds. But right here, we have a kill on the ulting Raze, it looked like, or at least an assist. And moving in here, we have our ult as well, which is good. This is a very good round to use it in. Although, obviously, you know, we're 9 rounds in, so that, you know, that is something to think about. Now, I don't know about picking up the op here. Whenever you're in a 1vx situation, I would never pick up an op. You always are going to want a rifle. And I think here what happens is Nerf Boy is just too reluctant to push in. When you're playing Reyna, when you have your ult up, you got to push. You got to be aggressive. That is the one time that aggression is the best option. Because right there, you're going to kill to full off your kills. You're going to have such a high fire rate. You're going to be able to out body shot anybody fighting you, and you're always going to be on full health. So a misplay there by Nerf Boy for sure. All right, round 10 starting up. So obviously, let's see where we're at. We are topping the scoreboard. We have definitely had some first bloods as well. So like I was talking about, those are your impact frags. That's what we're looking for. So I would say so far, Nerf Boy has had a good impact on this game. In terms of the kills he's getting. The problem though is he's kind of throwing his life away in some situations, and also they've been attacking A lot, so he's on the rotate quite a bit and just not getting a lot of value. Right there, a huge kill. So that was an equalizing kill. That was kind of like a refrag. Player had already done his team. They were down a player. He's able to equalize things up. Oh, but then just makes an absolutely poor decision there. I have no idea what Nerf Boy was doing. I think he's mad at himself right now. I can hear it. Yeah, after that kill, I think we knew the jet was already long, so we just want to play away from that angle. Don't even give her the opportunity. Oh, and they're going to lose the round off of it. But the refrag there was a super high impact kill. That's exactly what we're looking for there. You even up the score, bring it back to 4-4. That's the best you can ask for. Okay, round 11 here. Looks like we're going for a little jiggle there, just checking with a knife out. And now we're falling back. So they actually opted to go for 3 players here on B. Just based off the aggression we've been seeing on A, I probably would have just been playing 2B the entire time. These guys seem to have no problems taking A control with a combination of walls and smokes. So that would have been my main focus. Also, whenever you're using SMG, I would always try to avoid heaven, just because you're going to get outranged once again by better weapons, by their rifles. So right there, Nerf Boy definitely playing with fire. I probably in that case am going to want to go through the lower tunnel there and come out onto site rather than go up into heaven, because I don't want to fight long range. And right there, exactly what I'm talking about. Play to your advantage. Close range fights. These guys had rifles, but we're both playing close, and Nerf Boy actually hitting some very nice headshots. Even though that last shot there started with body shots, ends up hitting headshots. So right here is a great example again of impact frags. Yes, we're late in the round. Yes, we're on a retake, but he is going in and he is getting these kills to give them a player advantage on a retake. High impact kills there. Now, that may only show as 3 kills, right? He got 3 kills, that's it. But those were some of the most important kills someone can get, and it got them the round win, right? And these are the little things that don't always show on the scoreboard. Sometimes it's just getting 1 kill during a round, during a retake, that starts sort of like that snowball effect, but that doesn't show on the scoreboard. So someone might only have 5 kills, but if 4 of those were incredibly important retakes that eventually got them round wins, you could potentially credit 4 round wins to them, right? Again, just trying to explain these concepts, because it's really important to understand that just because someone doesn't have a lot of kills, or just because you don't have a lot of kills, doesn't mean you're playing bad or you're not having a high impact on the rounds. Again though, a death here from Nerf Boy, walking out of hookah straight into 2 players. Again, Who is he going to shoot at? Ends up shooting the Brim, who had, looks like a Bucky, and the Sova just shoots 4 times the Vandal, body shots all, and gets the kill there. So very, you know, feels a little sloppy, right? Overexposing himself a lot. All right, guys, moving into the second half here, we are up 7-5. Nerf Boy 15-7, actually having a pretty nice game, but you know, only up by 2 here, so this is definitely still close. I want to start talking about how to get more impact frags, because that is the title of the video. Now that we know what they are, kind of what they look like, there's a few important concepts here. First and foremost is that you guys should always be trying to lead in as duelists, because those tend to be the players who get the most impact frags, because they are the first ones to fight. They're the first ones to make contact. So if you are a duelist player, if you are someone like Nerf Boy, I'm expecting when you're playing on attack in particular, that you guys are going to be leading in the charge and going first, using your flashes to clear and to, you know, get enemies out of position, and then take advantage of those fights where you have the advantage. Because if you're not leading in as an attacker, you know, I don't know what you're doing, honestly, on a duelist, because when it comes to the important kills and rounds, obviously, like I've said, first blood. How do you get first bloods? By taking some of the first fights in the rounds. If you don't take the first fight, someone else is, then they're the ones that are going to get the first bloods, right? So take advantage of what your kit offers. And duelists, thankfully, their kits generally favor fighting first with flashes, with heals, like this Reyna, for example. Being able to heal back to full after maybe you took a bad fight, but you end up killing the person. Boom, back to full health. That's what you want to be doing. Let's see right here. Just, again, Nerf Boy obviously hitting a lot of headshots here. At this rank, at Plat 2, being able to hit headshots consistently, especially on pistol rounds, is the quickest way to win. I mean, it truly is. You are just going to out-aim people. All right. Another really good way to get impact frags is to use abilities to force players out of position. So things like mollies, things like blinds, things like stuns, really, really good. Anything that's going to deal damage, also that could push a player. So something, for example, like a shock dart. Right? If you could shoot a shock dart, you could potentially make someone, you know, kind of get out of that position they're sitting in. Maybe they're in a corner, maybe they're hiding in like a cubby or something. Get them to move, and then you take your fight. So a lot of times people will just dry peek. They won't use their abilities till later in rounds. They'll go for just the 1v1 aim duels. Take advantage of your kits, guys. Use what the game is giving you, and take those easy fights, right? Make people get out of position. Don't just go for a 50-50. You want to use every single ability, every option you have to make that fight easier for you, right? And that's really, really important. That's crucial to getting impact kills, because if you don't, well, the other team might, and then suddenly you're down players and you're probably losing the rounds. All right, so tough round there, but they are up 9-5 here, so you know, still just kind of cruising through. Definitely looks like the other team probably is outmatched a little bit, just not being able to close out something, especially that last round. Pushing in here, not really the first one in, but Breach is using his flash as well, so you don't have to be the first one out. Especially if you have a Breach, you can let them flash and follow your teammates, because with a Breach flash, essentially anybody can be a duelist. Let's be honest here. Ooh, Sova playing a risky game, but actually gets away with it. Little bit indecisive here. I'd like to see, oh, no more Lears left, actually. That tells us where Raze is. Yep. So that boom bot by the Raze wasn't, you know, necessarily 100 IQ, or I mean 200 IQ, maybe more like 100 IQ, because it just tells us exactly where the player is coming from. Picked up a gun with 12 bullets in it. Not ideal for sure. Oh, gonna take damage from that, unfortunately, but you know, like I was saying, when you're that Raze in that situation, you boombot off the wall, you kind of tell the other team exactly where you are. But nonetheless here, I'm sure they're going to win this round. So let's move forward. All right, currently 10-5. Another great example of how to get impact frags, that jet op, right? The op, unfortunately, is one of the best ways to get impact frags, especially early first bloods. Super early in the rounds, like 5 seconds in. Essentially, hold an aggressive angle, wait for the other players to walk into it, shoot, and dash away. That is probably, when it comes to pro play, the most common example of how the highest skilled players in the game get those impact frags. They immediately start rounds off with an op kill, you're up a player instantly, and then you go from there, right? And that truly, it feels cheap, but it works, and you got to take advantage of what you can. So if you are someone who ops, those are the people who really are going to have a great time getting those impact kills. So losing that last round there, and one note I want to make for Nerf Boy here is he's holding these angles where he's kind of just one and done. If he can't get the kill there, like, he's in a corner, there's not much movement he can do. If they push him with 2 players, he's probably just gonna get traded out. He might want to reconsider how he's holding these angles, or hold more of an off angle. So as you saw, he stood in the corner, but hypothetically, he could have kind of pushed himself backwards, more towards the entrance into U-Haul there, and then held a more aggressive angle on that peak, so that the player can't just swing and clear the corner like that. Because when someone's going through U-Haul and you're sitting in a corner, they know they're obviously 100% going to clear that and expect someone to be there. But if you're holding an off angle, they're not going to expect that. So that way, at least you can get the first shot. Right here, though, big misplay. Huge misplay by Nerf Boy. If you are going to be taking a site, even if you're going to wall it or whatever, it doesn't matter. Someone has to clear U-Haul, or at least be holding more aggressively on U-Haul. In this situation, that's Nerf Boy's job. He's playing a duelist. He's got to push in there, and the raise just comes through, kills him, and ends up getting a 4K and winning that round. That should have never happened. That was a 4v3, but it just goes to show how important it is to kind of work together and to do your job, right? And to clear and make sure sites are safe. And that was a great example of when that doesn't happen. All right, moving into round 18 here, back onto the Sheriff. Looks like we're going for some sort of like maybe sort of a split buy here, just kind of save for next. Oh, that's not good. That tag could just straight up get him killed here. Oh, looks like they are just going to completely back off, though, which actually isn't terrible in this situation. The chances of him running through that smoke and not getting opped or getting shot by another player, especially when he had a recon dart in him, were pretty low. Again, like I've been talking about, the impact from ops is undeniable. It is just so easy to use, point and click adventure, and it gets so much value. So, I hate to say it, but if you are somebody who wants to have more impact on your games, opping is a very good way to do that. All right, so Nerf Boy and friends are going to lose that last round, but we have a buy here, going with the Phantom and pushing Showers. I don't think we've actually seen this yet. Opening pick from the Sage, first blood, high impact frag. The refrag from the Sova, though, again, high impact from both sides. And then there's the trades coming out, and now you're up here. I actually almost feel like the other team lost a player, but nonetheless, first bloods, high impact. The refrag, evening it up, high impact, right? That's what we're looking for. But now we're in a 4v2, right? And this is where people brag. They're like, oh, I'm going to clean up these last 2 players. Look at all my kills. These kills don't matter that much in the grand scheme of things. They're not that important. Yes, they still matter, of course, right? You still got to win rounds, you got to close rounds out. But if you're in 4v2s and yeah, you're getting the last 2 kills every time, you might end a game with 25 kills. But if you didn't get a single first blood, if you didn't get any of those super important trades, your impact on the round wasn't that big. And I hope that's the point I get across from this video, that people understand the difference between like what a high impact frag is and just kind of like what cleanup kills really are, right? And here we are, looking to put it onto match point 11-8. Pretty close game, honestly, especially kind of with how the other team opened up this half. I didn't expect it to get this close. Right here, Nerf Boy clearing through Showers. I'd like to see a little more jiggle in these peaks, a little less just straight up walking. Didn't even clear. Okay, this is bad. He didn't even clear the box in Showers. Looks like their team did unfortunately lose a player, but when you come out of Showers, you got to clear to your right because people love sitting there. Oh, right there, the spray. I think he got a little bit lazy. Probably need to take his time there with those shots. Whenever someone is not looking at you guys, you can take your time with those shots, right? You don't have to rush things. And unfortunately, I think he did exactly that. Just rushed the shots, sprayed, and just could not get any kills. This is a big reason why I love using the Vandal, because I personally feel like it forces me to go for headshots, so I'm not so lazy and I don't just spray, right? At least I think that helps me personally. Well, let's see. This position is actually pretty bad. Not just because of the shower push behind you, because someone can walk up triple potentially if they obscure vision over here towards short and then get a kill on you that way as well. That's a tough spot to be in if you don't have the proper support. Thankfully, I think he did have support, but he does end up just dying to the Sage regardless, right? All right, match point here. Still with the Phantom, walking up towards Hookah. Looks like Sage will wall. Trying to go for some spam there. I think one of the things I could definitely say for Nerf Boy is I would have liked to have seen a little more aggression from him. on attack. He does seem to kind of stay behind his teammates a bit too much. I think that's something he could work on. Just trying to be the first one out a bit more. As you can see, smokes are down, but no one has left hookah, right? And Nerf Boy's just kind of back here chilling. He's the third one onto site. It's not a huge deal, you know, especially when they're up a player. Just I think someone DC'd. But, you know, that is something you want to pay attention to. If you find yourself in these situations a lot where you're not really going out first, especially when you're playing Arena, right? When you have flashes and your kit is built to frag. Your kit is built to get into these fights, get kills, heal up, get out safely. If you're not doing that, if you're kind of staying back more like a support player, you might want to kind of reconsider how you're playing these rounds. But let's pause here and let's kind of talk a little bit more about what we saw from this game. So obviously we came into this talking about impact frags. I definitely think Nerf Boy was getting a lot of those. You know, first bloods, opening picks, refrags. He was doing a great job. The problem is he gets a little bit sloppy sometimes. And what happens is after we get initial kill, he would then just simply, you know, go back for more and die and get traded. Suddenly, what was a high impact play by him turns into completely even odds again. And once again, you know, he's adding value and then taking value away. That's something he's going to want to work on, is not being kind of so, I guess, careless with his deaths. Take your kill and back up, right? Don't always go for more. That's just too greedy. And then the other thing I would say is I really wish he would attack a bit more as one of the first or second people in, using Leers to get out of these situations, getting out of hookah, dropping down with Leers. Because like we saw in this last round, smokes were down, no one was going, right? So maybe more communication as well could work for Nerf Boy in the future. But I will say for Plat 2, the aim was on point, I have to say. Very good aim, really nice headshot accuracy as well, especially on the pistol rounds. We saw he seems to be very proficient with the Sheriff as well. That's really good. I like him on Duelist, but I want to see him try to be more aggressive and really take that role to the next level. With that being said, guys, I hope you learned a thing or two, whether about Reyna play or about impact frags, their importance, or kind of like how to judge if you're actually providing value to your team. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy and peace.